This is pretty significant news here today. Lane Kiffin released a statement earlier today announcing that LSU offensive coordinator Charlie Weis Jr. is going to be allowed to coach Ole Miss in the playoffs, despite being LSU coordinator Charlie Weis Jr. The statement that Lane Kiffin released earlier today, I'll read it for you quickly here. He says, with the playoff committee releasing updated rankings tonight, I wanted it to be known that after conversations with LSU, we are allowing Charlie to return to Ole Miss to coach the team during the playoffs. I've already made the committee aware of this, and I'm hopeful this decision will allow Ole Miss to receive the highest ranking possible because these great players are very deserving of that. I'm excited that Charlie will be back to help coach the greatest team in the history of Ole Miss. Okay, so that's the statement from Lane Kiffin about allowing Charlie Weis to go back. I think, and by the way, this has been roundly celebrated. Kirk Herbstreit tweeted about it. Everyone is celebrating this decision to do this. And I do believe part of this is probably a little self-serving for Lane Kiffin because he can sort of, he can play the card that even though he left, he still wants Ole Miss to do well, and he's basically putting Charlie Weis on loan to Ole Miss at this point to go help them win. I also believe genuinely that he wants them to do well and the players that he coached and all that sort of stuff. I believe both of those things can be true at the same time. A big part of Lane Kiffin's press conference Monday was about the manner in which he left, as you'd imagine. He talked about it in his open. He was asked about it. There was times he wasn't asked about it, but deviated there anyway. Like play number 2. This is Lane, just a little dose of him talking about how difficult of a decision it was.
Leaving Ole Miss was extremely difficult, and in that, we tried every single thing possible to continue to coach the team through the playoffs and to continue to coach the players. In the end, that was their decision, and we totally respect that and appreciate the time and energy that we tried to figure out a plan to do the best thing at the time for those players. The last 6 years of my life have been the best 6 years of my life.
That's enough. That's the point I wanted. Kiffin made the point over and over and over again that he wanted to coach his team, and it was Ole Miss's decision not to let him. And, more than 2 weeks ago, I sat right here, and I gave you what was phrased as an opinion that they weren't going to let Lane Kiffin coach the team, but I knew that was fact because they told him that all the way throughout this thing, that there was no way they were letting him coach the college football playoff. And I don't care if he said that they told him that on Saturday night when all that decision was made. That decision was made weeks ago, and it was made abundantly clear to him weeks ago that if he left, he was not coaching the playoff. And as time goes on, the truth comes out about these things. But for me, this feels extremely hypocritical from the Ole Miss perspective. And I know this is going to be perceived by a lot of people as the LSU media guy going to bat for the now LSU coach. Take it however you want. I don't know anyone in media that is more pro NIL portal, do what you want than me. Is that fair? Like, can we say that? Like, we all understand. For as long as I've sat here, players, you want to opt out, opt out. You want to transfer 6 times, transfer 6 times. You want to get a giant payday one year, go to another school, get a payday. You want to be Diego Pavi and get further eligibility, good. Coaches, portal it up, whatever. I'm good with all of it. I'm good with all of it because this is a mess college football created. So in this instance, you could say I'm just going to bat for the LSU coach, but really I'm pretty consistent with my approach on these types of topics. Ole Miss wouldn't let Lane Kiffin coach their team in the playoff, despite him wanting to do so. And I agree with their decision, by the way. Just to be clear, I do. I agree with their decision. If I think of it the other way, if LSU's coach left after the regular season before the playoff to go be the Alabama coach, would you want that person coaching your team in the playoff? Hell no. Hell no. No shot. Ice Cube's chance in hell you'd want that person coaching your team in the playoff. I understand Ole Miss's perspective. They're right. So why are you letting Charlie Weis come coach the team in the playoff? because that's LSU offensive coordinator Charlie Weis. That's the guy who just signed a 3-year, $6 million deal to be LSU's offensive coordinator, who got on a plane and left your team for Baton Rouge on Sunday. Same dude, same principle. And you can say, well, it's an assistant. What does it matter? It's the same principle. Like, it's that old story that's attributed to Churchill. But, this very erudite woman, a man walks up and says, would you sleep with me for $1 million? She says, well, yeah, I should say I would. So will you sleep with me for $5? Oh, what type of woman do you think I am? So we've already established that. Now we're just haggling over price. The premise is the same. Head coach, coordinator, same. It's the same premise. Like, you didn't want the LSU coach to coach your team in the game. Okay, I get that. I respect that. I really do. I would think the same thing. So why are you letting Charlie Weis come by? Why? Because you want to win. Because you want to win. And it's the same reason why Keith Carter, who's known this whole time that Lane Kiffin was going to leave, but never held his feet to the fire. Never held his feet to the fire. So, at any point, could have held his feet to the fire and made him make a call before the Egg Bowl. Could have done it. Made the transition with Joe Judge, all that sort of stuff. Well, didn't. And it became the big giant mess that it was. Why did he not make the call earlier? Because he wanted Lane Kiffin to keep coaching the team because it gave him the best opportunity to win. Okay. Got it. Okay, respect. But then don't be a hypocrite when it comes to this situation. That's the problem I have. Everyone who's all up in arms about the way Lane Kiffin left, what's he supposed to do? Just be the Ole Miss coach forever? Or until they don't have a good season so he can leave? What are you talking about? Like, people say, oh, it's so unprecedented. Yeah, it's unprecedented. Yes, this is unprecedented. This is only the second year ever of a 12-team playoff. What if this was 2 years ago in a 14 playoff and Ole Miss is ranked 7th? Is it okay then? Because they're not going to be in a 14 playoff because they're ranked 7th. So it's okay. It would have been okay then to leave your 11-1 team because you would have been leaving before a New Year's 6, but not before a playoff, right? That's so, just so we're clear. See, everybody keeps moving the goalposts on this. I've been pretty consistent. Like, I'm good leaving. Players leave. Last year, we had players whose teams made the college football playoff and opted out. Bo Prabula, the backup quarterback at Penn State, opted out in the playoff to go because he had to get in the portal to go to Missouri. Are we crushing Bo Prabula? No, we didn't crush Bo Prabula. You know what we said? Man, the calendar sucks as that kid has to make that decision. So why are you crushing a coach who has to make the same decision because the same calendar sucks? Like, yeah, it sucks. I agree completely. It's stupid. I wish they changed the calendar. Because Ole Miss, with or without Lane Kiffin, wouldn't win a national championship this year. They're going to lose, and then if the calendar was right, he could have opted out, or he could have left at the end of the season after they lost, and everyone would have gotten it. And there would have been people upset and all that sort of stuff, whatever, but it's what it is. Because every coach ever who has ever left a school ever has done this. The whole, how can he leave his players? Every single coach that's ever left for another job ever has left their players. That's the nature of it. And the hypocrisy that people have. Like, you never left a job? I listened to Paul Feinbaum crushing Lane Kiffin, calling him a disgrace. Hey, Paul, you left WJOX to go to the SEC Network. Are you a disgrace? Or did you take a better opportunity at hand? God bless. What do you do for a living? You're a teacher. Someone's going to increase your salary, give you a chance to go do the best ever, the dream destination of your profession. But you got to leave in the middle of the school year. You going? Yeah, you are. It's amazing how people hold coaches to different standards. Amazing. In any event, I get it, how that's going to be perceived by a lot of people. This is the LSU guy going to bat for the LSU coach. But I'll put my head on my pillow tonight feeling very comfortable with my stance on this because it's how I feel about this era of college football. A lot of people clutch their pearls and scream about how they're ruining the sacredness of college football. All I've said is, y'all, college football, as much as I love it in spite of itself and have my whole life. Because college football is so freaking flawed. You're going to tell me you're going to give the death penalty to SMU because Eric Dickerson's riding around in a gold Trans Am in the 80s? Will Wade gets run out of LSU because of his damn strong offer, which, by the way, we've talked about that a billion times. And then 2 years later, pay him whatever you want. Give me a break. Like, Lane Kiffin isn't the villain here. He's not. He's operating within the system. Can't change the system. You don't like the behavior, change the system, which hopefully is the net result of this. And if Lane Kiffin leaves LSU after a year, I'll sit there and I'll say the same thing. Dude left for a better offer. Lane Kiffin in 2 years goes to the NFL, I go, God bless, man. Dude wanted something LSU couldn't offer. I get it. You're not gonna hear me sitting over here crushing a coach or a player for leaving for a better opportunity. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.